We are incredibly lucky. Normally, it's impossible to ride in rainforests like this. They are always in national parks, so only bushwalking is allowed. But we now have access to yet another private property, and we are helping the owner to cut some new single tracks. It's a privilege to ride on someone's property, so all the usual rules apply. Look after their tracks, minimal wheel spin, and definitely avoid digging holes in the tracks. We will be in first gear for the entire day, and it's all stop-start. Riders are getting caught on hidden tree roots, moss-covered rocks under the leaves.
Wow.
And vines are constantly grabbing our handlebars, boots, foot pegs, or scrotums. Awesome stuff. All of that pivot turn practice has been worth it. On a tight track like this, it saves so much energy to pivot turn instead of lift the bike around. It also puts all of the weight of the bike on the rear wheel, and it's much less likely to spin on wet tree roots and rocks. During the day, I found myself stalling a few times, then realised I was in second gear. Dope. I seem to be slipping the clutch so much nowadays on these slow tracks that I often don't realise I'm in second gear until I've stalled a few times.
Are we having fun yet?
Lots of fun, buddy.
This next bit, really interesting. It's not very steep, but there's almost no traction on the mossy rocks.
Harder than I've never actually ridden it.
Yeah.
Then you need to pivot turn and get momentum quickly over a series of big tree roots. We head up a bit further to park the bikes so we can walk down and observe the action on this tricky section.
Whoop. Are you trapped? You right?
Ben has finally bought his 14-year-old son a bigger bike, and Archie is going really well on his new cross trainer.
Just give her a good seat bounce. Good seat bounce.
Jason has lost his momentum and is stuck on one of the wet rocks between the tree roots.
Yeah, nice. It's got you over the rock now.
Phil comes through with great momentum, but loses it just as he hits the first of the tree roots. He still needs some work on his clutch control because we want to avoid wheel spin as much as possible.
Yeah, nice. Good weighting. That's it. Much less wheel spin.
Danny still struggling with keeping the rear weighted when he leg paddles, so there's a fair bit of wheel spin. Jeff does a textbook case of leg paddling here. Keeping his weight on the rear wheel, gets great traction the whole way. Epic stuff.
Woo!
As always, we expect great things from Scott. And as always, we are massively disappointed.
Stop trying to make me feel better.
Oh, it's an orange bike that fell over. What brand is this?
What are those letters on the side?
I can't make them out.
You can see all the roots and rocks that make this little slope so difficult.
Going the pivot turn. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll blame the tree.
His first seat bounce? Meh. The final seat bounce? Excellent.
Oh, saved by the tree.
A few more ups and downs. The downhill runs are great practice for not locking up the rear wheel. When we did some coaching with Chris Birch, he suggested applying maximum rear brake, but just short of locking up the rear wheel, so we could get maximum braking. It also means we aren't ripping up the owner's tracks. Oh, I'm in second gear again and don't even realise. It does mean great traction, but I'm slipping the clutch constantly when I don't really need to be. I better change this engine oil soon with all these clutch particles floating around in there.
Ah.
We have one final challenge coming up. A tight turn around a big tree root, then a steep climb with a log hop in the middle.
Awesome stuff. This next bit's really tricky. Lots of tree roots. There goes Arch. Nice run.
I failed to get any momentum over the tree roots. Let's try anyway. Huh, somehow I make it. Here's Archie again. At this rate, he'll outride his dad very soon.
Well, that's good. It's grippier than it looks. Go, Jeff. Well done, mate. Nice. Doesn't look like much. We've got a tree root there to slip you up. More under the leaves here. Nice pivot turn. You really want some momentum for these. Nice one, mate. Watch out, you got lady. What do you call this vine? Mother-in-law. Sticks to everything. Yeah, see that? Come on, Scott. We always expect big things of Scott. He must do it perfectly.
And you never get any. And I'll wait.
Scott is pretty quick with leaning off the bike to get a foot on the ground. Our faithful spotters are ready to catch falling riders and touch them very inappropriately if they get a chance. Watch very carefully. You'll see some inappropriate touching here. A final break before our last climb out of the forest. Everyone was pretty wrecked after this ride. Middle of summer, no airflow at these speeds, and no breeze. Muscles will ache for several days now, and hopefully fellow workers will take pity on us as we limp into the working week. Although it's far more likely they will think we are idiots for beating ourselves up each weekend needlessly. Such is the life of the dirt rider.